Now here we go with the continuation of the DT03, and it's going to be, as far as I'm concerned, I'm making a Madbull 2. So the body I've got for it is an original Madbull. But you can see the problem is trying to get it to fit. Rear mounts is not going to be a trouble, because the great thing about this chassis, even though you can mount on the pin on the front, there is places for other posts. So at the back I'll go through the rear wing like the Grasshopper 2 did. There's still the original mark holes in the thing, but we'll see how wide they are to this, whether it lines up, because I think it's going to be wider. First things first is I'm going to lose this piece here, so let's get an empty pot and start ripping bits off. Now I've took off the centre bar, and the distance I'm going to be working to is between here, for it to slide through and then pop down, and I'll have to probably cut clearance for these two parts here. I'll zoom in, let's zoom in a bit. You might get what I'm talking about. See that part there? It's got to fit round that. If it fits on, it might be different, but I just don't know. So, but the distance between here, I know it will fit through roughly, because we know, if I put it back on, that it fits over everything, and that's the point to get past. So I think if I trim away to here, to this point here, I'll be fine. There's the tape to mark out what I'm cutting, and I will be cutting to the outside of the tape, and that should give me enough to fit between these 2 points, because it's that measurement is less, just slightly less than, and it is really slightly, and the tape marks are about, but the most all I'll have to do is slightly sand away. So what I'm going to do is cut to about here, and then I'll cut across, and then I'll remove as I go along. So I'll probably cut across here first, I think. Well, I don't know, it's still, you've got to be judgmental on it. Now, using my trusty back saw, which is a very thin blade, really good for this sort of work, I've cut it down as carefully as possible. Now we'll look and see how it fits. And that's pretty good. I've got a bit of clashing on the back of the wires to the servo, but I think that'll push down. Now, some fettling later, I've got it fitting round as tight as possible, but I need it a little bit lower. I've almost got the front pin to fit, but I think I could be stuck on the side and behind. If you can just about see the old body pin part, I could be sitting on that, but I'm so close. Now, after a lot of fettling later, I've got the front down and it fits, but you have to sort of bounce it over. Do you see that? So what I'm thinking of doing is shortening the front, so there's a bit less. I would have liked it longer, but it's too hard to false. So I'm just going to cut the front off and then reshape it. Now, after a nose job, see, it's quite a bit shorter. It now slides in near perfect, so I'm really happy with that. It's a bit shorter, but needs must. So once I raise it up at the back, the pin's going to fit a bit better, but that's not too bad at all. We got plastic there. The shape of it, that was a lot of fettling, but we got a working body. Now I'm going to do the back posts with a couple of straight ones of these, and hopefully we'll have it on in a minute. Well, there we go. We have got the Madbull shell fitted. I've got to put a, well, I think I'm alright at the front. I might put a little bit of strengthening underneath if I've got room, just a couple of little strips of plastic, just to reinforce it. Just drilled the back, a couple of pins and a couple of top pins on the standard posts. I could lower them one if I want to, but I think I'll leave it at that angle. I'm quite happy with it. Like I said, it's not a full fit, but then the original Madbull, the axle sort of hangs out the back. The wheelbase is about the same, so I don't think I need to go any further. Now, I've been working on a driver for the Madbull 2, and I printed off a Wild Willie 2 head, and it was a bit big. A bit big. So what I've done is I've printed one at 80%. It needs a lot of sanding though, because it hasn't come out as nice as usual. But I put a little collar on top just to make him sit down slightly. And I've got another one of the, well, it's the last of these I've got sitting around, sort of body bases. And I've drilled it all the way through, so a big long screw. And it goes together with a nut. Line it all up. I'll probably glue the body in place, but there we go. That'll be the driver. It'll look better once painted. I did lose a bit of detail on the head though, but then the standard size one wasn't over great. Now with the Madbull 2 we're building, using the DT03 chassis, the front hubs are no good. They're just, the axles are too short. So let's take one side off. So we're ready. And to get longer axled Tamiya ones, they were actually dearer than having posted from Hong Kong. These are Jazz Rider upgraded ones. The only downside here was the weight. It weren't the trip from Hong Kong, never is. Because from there, going through their system and all that, they got them to Heathrow in, well, how can we put it, just a couple of days. Well, not a couple of days, 9 days. Whereas once they had landed, these were through customs and handed over to our postal service. And to get it 42 miles here took 9 days. Work that one out. Well, a lot of you are used to it over here. You know what I mean? There's no strike on at the moment, so, or anything like that, so it's a bit of a joke. Now I'm going to have a look at this pin. Now the pin's a good fit, because it's how it works, but they supply screws. And the screws are looser. And I don't think pivoting on the screw is a good idea. So what we're going to do is double check through here, because it seems to have some Yeah, it's got some bushings. Yeah, they're not, I don't know what these are, they're just like some sort of bush, little plastic bushing. And it's a tight fit on this, so that's probably why they use the screw. But I'm still not going to use what I want to use. Now I've tried and tried with to hone this to the standard pins and it won't have it. The hole in the centre there is not in the centre, and whenever I try I cannot get the standard pin to run through it without totally jamming. So I've tried, it won't screw into the plastic because the hole's too big, so this is another attempt with a long stainless steel. Hopefully it's not a problem, and if this works I will leave it as it is. Like I said, I can adjust this up to what I want and clamp it and release, but not too much. But it looks like I might be shimming this up anyway. I might put a 3mm washer, but I'm going to do it like that for now. Now, after more effort than there should have been, the front wheels are on. I even had to sand the axle this side to get the bearings on, and even then they're put under pressure, so to get them off will take a bit of effort. Probably means removing, sort of putting the nut back on and tapping the bearing off to get the outer one off, and then removing the axle to tap the inner off. But they won't be coming off very often, so I'm not too fast. But that was a job that took way longer than a job should take. You know, these Jazz Rider hubs, as far as I'm concerned, don't buy them. A piece of crap. Too far off. I've fitted aftermarket parts from them before and other companies, but when you're having this much trouble, they're not great, you know. Admittedly, it would have been slightly better with if I'd have had the how can I put it? Wondering why the diff's stiff, and now I realise I stiffened it, didn't I? No, the thing is, there should be sometimes odd issues, but the thing is, the axles are like, I could have sort of honed them for quite some time with oil and a drill just to get the bearings to slip on. Probably next time when I have them off I will be doing that, but it's at the stage where I just want it sort of finished now. So let's get the first back wheel on. We put the pin in, we put the hex in, and we'll see how these look. Yeah, it seems pretty much in line, the rear axles, which is a good thing. I found out why the diff weren't turning. The drive shaft this side was off. There we go. Finally, we have a full rolling chassis. Yeah, that's good. Quite sticky, the diff. I'm pleased with that. Suspension without battery. more than enough, if anything. God, why do Tamiya? You follow their instructions to the letter, and it tows out. Oh, something else to. If anything, you want a slight toe in to allow for suspension movement, not the other way around. So they'll have to be adjusted. There we go. Its designation, Madbull 2. Trying to get these letters right is a nightmare, even with using a line of masking tape. At least it's got a name. That's it. It's not perfect, but it does fit the DT03 chassis. I would have liked to use a Lexan body, but they were more money. But there you go. It fits really well. You know, it's like I said, the effort I put in made sure it does fit well. Just fit the body clips. And now it just needs, when the weather improves, a run. Well, I hope you like my own idea of a Madbull 2, and I think the DT02 chassis, sorry, the DT03 chassis is the better choice. But if you're going to buy it, buy the Tamiya T-hubs, or if not, buy a complete DT03 T-kit, which would have the right hubs on the front anyway. But I could not find a chassis only with those hubs. That's why I went for it. But it's there now, and it is been built, and I can't wait to run it. It's definitely going to have hopefully more positive steering than the original. But I was hoping Tamiya themselves would have done something like this. You know, because they could have done it and probably made it longer and fit just that little bit further back at the rear here. But I've had a go. But I'm happy with it, that's the main thing. So, except for these letters, they just don't look straight to me, the last bit. But I'm not going to rip them off now.